Hello, everyone. I am your host, Ahmani Brown. Welcome back. I have the boys and a new guest actually as well. Devaughn.
Yeah.
There he is. We have Leon.
Hello.
All right, and then our new boys. We have Kenny.
Yo.
There we go. So this time around on the Deep Dive Podcast, we're gonna be hitting. I keep saying the Deep Dive Podcast. The Deep Dive Nexus. That's what it's called. It's the actual title.
Good start.
That's fine. it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I'll fix it in post, and if not, it adds character, which you want. We'll be discussing being black in the U.S. specifically. Just in general, like people's experiences, how things have played out, maybe views on our culture, things of that nature. We'll just be going into it and discussing like overall different feelings about it, possibly give some solutions about some situations. I mean, to be fair, as a whole, there's a lot to talk about in that. But I mean, it's always kind of a thing. So let's just get into it. All right, we have three. Well, technically speaking, we have 3.5 or a quarter, whatever Leon is. Leon's like a bunch of stuff.
I thought that like, oh shit. This is gonna be weird.
Man, it's Quincy.
He is a Quincy. He is Ichigo.
I am an Ichigo.
He's Ichigo for sure.
Counts for enough, so he's fine.
I mean, consider it. I mean, Devaughn, have you seen his brother? Have you seen his brother?
No.
His brother looks like me. Like dreads and all. Like he's got enough. He's got enough. It's roaming around.
You see my mom.
If
He
you
knows.
unlock it, you can have dreads too.
Funny.
I could. I'm not ruining my curls.
It's not wrong.
I have good curls because of my blend.
transforming. That's different. They become something different. You become a part of something different. It's not the same.
Join a collective.
It's like a movement.
Yeah, man.
No. I guess we'll start there. Just purely out of that. You said movement. How do we feel about BLM?
Oh, wait. I want to state this out. BLM, as a company, terrible. They're very wanted to selling people out, using money to buy certain things. But Black Lives Matters as like the hashtag.
Like as a move, yeah, as the movement.
We can push that. That's what we got to push. But the actual movement has took advantage of that. It's been getting free money, and it's getting me so fucking pissed off. Don't want me to support it, but
that
it's still
specific company. Well, I guess whoever it was just like a bunch of people that like decided that they were going to be like the organized face of it, and then just took donations and crap. They actively against the cause, or at least profiteering more so than anything else. But
getting on my goddamn nerve.
as you can tell, Devon's very passionate about that part specifically. Yeah, no,
Nah,
I'm
bro,
not
we on
even-
the same page. He set up before me.
No.
That's my
He's
brother.
right though. He's right.
That's my brother. And my niece.
I think we can all agree with that.
Oh. That's a whole bro nigga right there.
That is a phone crow nigga right there.
Oh, we can say nigga? Hell yeah.
Yes, we can say yes.
All right, man. Bro, I've been holding that back. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. He very much does look the part. The
All right.
reds very much give it more of the look. He used to have a nice, long, full native hair, more looking like. Then he went more African. So delete. I'm not keeping that there.
I feel that. But overall, for us, we're like, obviously, the movement is just, yeah. Like, obviously, black people's lives should matter. as well. I don't know why I have to say as well, but because for some reason, while it was going on, it couldn't be understood that there was a two, and so obviously people had to. And I think this is what really made me kind of annoyed. The protests to our protests for wanting to live, being all lives matter, being a thing, which is
Don't
wild.
forget Blue Lives Matter.
I've never seen anything like that. That's like it's. I've tried to explain this to people, but because some people they just don't get it. But it's like the equivalent of showing up to like a breast cancer awareness thing and going like, yeah, but all cancer is bad though, and it's like, yeah, all cancer is bad. You're correct, but like we are specifically talking about breast cancer. That's what the funding right now is for. That's why we're talking. It's the same thing. That's how at least I felt. Well, that's how I felt about it. Although we all kind of know most people who were on the All Lives Matter train just kind of wanted to silence the people who were being essentially oppressed or attacked in these instances. The people that wanted to have their voice be heard. All Lives Matter was just made to be like, shush. Stop talking. And that sucked. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely a thing that's like terrible on multiple fronts. But I guess my question to you guys, because we all are doing different perspectives, that's my perspective. I think it sucks. What do you guys think about All Lives Matter and like the concept of someone going out of their way to make that?
It makes them feel better, so I really don't get too mad about it. But if they try to push it down my throat like Black Lives Matter, I get angry. I get it, bro. But I want people to live life better, live like how they should. All lives matter, Black Lives Matter. Okay. Same difference. All lives matters for everybody. Black lives for black people just need to become shit.
What about you? What about you, Kenny? What do you think?
So the movement itself is like a deep rooted issue, within the black community, and not to get all like super conspiracy, but it only takes a bunch of motherfuckers like on a Reddit or a 4chan post to like sow discord by making memes and starting movements that a lot of people follow, but don't exactly know where the source came from. So they just blindly hashtag and put their post up and support a movement that they don't actually understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem more so than anything, is that people don't really do their own research to try to discern the difference. Because they'll make arguments saying, yeah, I mean, black lives do matter, but all lives should matter, right? Mm-hmm. And they're trying to make a point that doesn't necessarily need to be stated, because the whole point is to bring awareness to the oppression and, like you said, the issues that are happening within the black community from, like our law enforcement,
yeah,
and even the federal government to an extent.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So,
you're right.
Like it's more so ignorance. Like they're just sowing discord and ignorance, and it works. We're very susceptible to it. We kind of just see something, and I won't say we, but are people that also believe in the all lives matter and like the blue lives matter. Like, yeah, it does matter. Like that, absolutely right. But the ones that I don't even want to say, white people or just people,
Yeah, because it's not even just them. It's people. Sometimes it's just
people. It's people in general. Like it's some people in the community that support that shit too, and like it's just a matter of them just kind of saying what they feel and what they think, but they're unknowingly, supporting said movement or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it sucks, and I think most people, if they feel a type of way about it, then that should inquire them to do research. Like that should almost be like, hey, if you feel a type of way about this, read as much about it as you can so you know why you feel a type of way about it. Like, kind of like we do.
That's very fair. What about you, Leon?
My words are basically what Kenny has said. However, to extend on it, the fact that people don't research it is just due to most knowledge is always sourced at the fingertips nowadays via Google, and Google can throw whatever you want at it. Like you could say what you will, but you're not going to get the actual. You can get truth, but sometimes you won't get actual truth unless you dig deeper into historical
Just the
books,
surface
black
level.
books,
That's
and
true.
other sources of media instead, because that's what it is. Media has corrupted and given everyone a straight view of everything. Some of it correct, others not so much, because of money and the government, so on and so forth. So, and the whole Black Lives Matter movement and All Lives Matter movement, I don't give a fuck. uh, someone being of mixed descent, um, I guess I don't have the same baggage as everyone else would have, especially due to my skin complexion. I'm not as dark as my brother, nor my sister or my mom. I'm more on the side of my father, who is more of white, Caucasian, and Mexican looking. And I don't really experience the hate or the eyes as much as what they might have. Specifically, my brother. He's gone through a lot. He's pushed himself in that category specifically because that's what he felt more connected to, not in the right way, but in that concept is what he felt at the time.
Yeah, based on like his experiences and things of that nature, he's latched on to that side of him because that's what people see, right? So like,
well, that's what people believed.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say, because in his life, a little bit of backstory, I guess, about my brother. He originally was a gang. He in the past he was a pretty good man, but after I want to say middle school and or high school, he got affiliated with gangs and everything. And 9 times out of 10, when he spoke, it was that this is my black side, my culture and such. So,
and it's a part of him.
and it could be, yeah. But and also probably because he felt more family and other things, that variety. I'm not totally sure exactly the reasoning why it was, but that mindset isn't the actual case. There's a lot more under it. There's a lot more roots. The whole dreads and other aspects of the black community is far more depth and detailed versus what social media and movies portray it to be.
Man, you speaking.
Yeah. In fact, I kind of want to get into that now that you brought that up. How you guys feel about like how the media portrays us in a lot of cases? Because for me, I feel like nowadays it's not as bad as it used to be when you look back on like stuff. And obviously, we've had a history going back way before we were born, way before even our parents were born, of being portrayed in almost a joking or like even savage, like
Racist.
racist is also true. Just blatantly, just not correct by any means, manner. But like I'm trying to more so say like how it was like seen. So like for instance, I forgot there was like a comic book character name by the name of like I cannot remember his name right now, but essentially he was just a blackface figurehead. The idea was that he was supposed to be a part of the same comics as I believe
The Spirit.
I believe it's the Spirit. Because he's supposed to be.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He's supposed to be
as his sidekick.
and he's in the story, he's portrayed as like an actual character, but like his depiction is horrible.
Okay,
Like,
racist as hell. He does have a lot of like story significance, but you can't look at
oh
that
yeah, no, you
panel and
can't.
tell me
He
that
doesn't
like,
even fit the same art style as everyone else. He's just on. Like that was the crazy part about it to me. Like looking at it, I'm like, how do you put this man in the same story with the spirit, and this nigga looks like a normal white man, and then you're looking at this guy, and I'm like, you know, you don't see how that might be a little weird, but at the time, it was just normal. Like it made sense at the time, not to us, obviously, but like no one batted an eye. No one was like, it's a little weird, right? Like for us, it's obviously like, all right, I guess I see how it is. I mean, it's the only depictions we get, but but for
the audience,
yeah, but for everyone
wanna
else that was
clarify
reading it, totally fine. Of course, it's how he is.
they thought it was funny.
Yeah, they really. It was comical. So I guess like I'll start with Leon. Actually, we'll go from Leon back this way. How do you feel about that? Because like, obviously, you talked about how like you have mixed heritage, and that you kind of identify with like from what I know, you've identified more with your Native American side than anything else. But you've always been very much like, I got all of it. It's all sitting in there.
yeah, for me, despite who I am and despite my complexion, I want to say is like 2 tones or a tone lighter than yours, Ahmani.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've always accepted everything for the most part. I do lean more towards my Native American and probably a bit more of the Hispanic. But I'm everything. This is who am I made of. This is my tree. I wouldn't be here if this wasn't the case. So I'm happy who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, what was the question again? I was lost in thought with something else when
You're
you said
good.
talking about it.
That's part of the process of the deep dive Nexus. We just get you
I
thinking
guess how do you feel about I guess the portrayal in the media?
of us as time has gone on. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in the past, as we all know, fucking racist as shit. The whole, Jim Crow law, blackface, so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
slavery. Roots, the movie Roots, shows everything, basically. Check that out if anyone has not.
You gotta see
Fantastic.
Roots. Go see Roots. Go watch it.
I heard you in there cooking, bro.
I was just playing with the guitar. I already know how to do that.
And then there's that guy right there, that fellow. And then it's gotten better, most definitely. Things are a bit more equal, but there's still, I guess, archetypes, and certain depictions shown in social media that we can only fit.
We're done.
And
I'll give it to you.
they think we can only fit, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. I'll come back to it if I can.
I can always
that-
think of
that-
something
but-
from like anime or something like that exists, but like
Well, that's an
that's an
Japanese
overseas
culture.
thing.
They're in the all far thinking their
that's
own
definitely
ways.
overseas.
and stuff.
There's a level of ignorance that exists over there that it's a different story, right?
That's a different deep dive.
Yeah, that's just a different thing.
But I guess as a funny thing, as you said with comics, this came to mind that the black guy is normally the guy with lightning powers on average.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
always the lightning guy, regardless of the situation.
So I'll actually address that. Fun fact: although it is a weird common occurrence, it has actually been disproven as time has gone on, and like the more like you look at things and stuff like that, there's actually a ton of ton is in a smaller term than actually like a ton, but like there's a bunch of characters that are black that don't have electrical powers and are superheroes and things of that nature.
Ahmani, but I have a question. Is it more than 50%?
No, that's the thing. It's not even. I believe it's actually something close to maybe like 20, even less than that, actually. But it's
20% of
weird
the
that it
black
keeps
superheroes?
happening. Is the best way I could describe it.
There's no way only 20% of the black
It's
superheroes have.
surprisingly. It's that's the thing. It's surprisingly low. Like the more I looked into, trust me, I was really trying to figure out why does this keep happening. You know? I did my research into it. It's not as many as you would think. There's like, because for every black character we can list with electrical powers, because I don't know why the electrical Negro is a thing. Well, I know why, but like it's weird that it keeps coming up.
Electrical Negro, that's the title.
I mean, that's yeah.
Electric chair.
But there's like people like Luke Cage that exists, Vixen that exists. Storm falls in the other category, unfortunately. But
I ain't
like,
gonna lie, that'd be a tight villain.
I think that's 100%.
Was it Blue
technically
Marvel?
she has more
Right?
than just electricity, but commonly depicted with electricity. So like, it's kind of like, well, Storm, you
Her
kind of.
name is Storm.
Her name is Storm.
The fact that she's a goddess, I feel like she kind of gets away with it. Because if we talk about the comic portrayals, right? I recently watched a video where somebody pointed out the similarities between the earliest black superheroes.
Yeah,
And they all have a thing in common. They either got a low taper fade,
they usually do, or bald.
they got a fro, or they're bald.
Yeah. It's because they just didn't know how to draw different styles of black hair at the time. That's all they do.
Well, it's also
They get the
like
beard too.
not to speak on white comic creators, but they were drawing what they knew.
Yeah, and what they knew
Right,
were
so-
blaxploitation films or somebody rocking an afro. What you see in movies, which is basically comes back around to like our depictions in media, like whether or not like we are being shown a certain way or shown a certain light.
The Killmonger dreads killed me, bro.
That
As
one's
somebody that has like long dreads, like I can't stand the Killmonger cut.
the saddest part is I like the Killmonger cut until they overused the Killmonger cut. And I'm just kind of like, damn, bro. It was a cool hairstyle, but it didn't need to be on everybody. It did not need to be on everybody. Miles did not
The
need
dude
that
from
shit.
Double KO or like 2XKO.
Although
or
I will-
League, I
will
guess
say
it's
this.
League.
I will say this: Echo did need that shit though. Echo with the Killmonger dreads is a crazy glow up in comparison to what he originally had, which is just not it. He has
that's a
some
glow up.
weird. Okay, so like think Echo's original design in League of Legends is something similar to like Storm, but think of like Storm's hair in a mohawk, but it's the wrong phenotype every time. Like no matter what, it's always like white straight hair that's just in a mohawk. And it's not cut. It's not like it's cut like straight up like a mohawk. It's like it goes off and kind of looks. Let me see if I can find a picture. It's just one of those things where it's just like every time I've looked at it, I was just like, bro, I don't know who thought they were cooking with the way that they do this. But I'm so glad they changed that shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, we want to talk about back cuts, bro. We got to talk about Blade.
Blade, see, that's the thing. I love Blade's cuts. Like the Wesley Snipes ones, right? Like the with the
Nah, bro. I'm talking about like
with the V,
like the Vegeta, yeah, the deep widow's peak,
with
bro.
the T. No, not the T. Yeah, you know what? There are some crazy Blade cuts that exist. With the T-Bags widow's peak.
It's bad, bro. It's
Yeah, no,
like you know Wesley Snipes is not finna cut his hair like that.
this is why he didn't. He did not do it. There's also a reason why at some point he went bald. It's because at some point the comic book creators was like, you know, I don't see that many people rocking afros anymore. So I gotta switch it up. Which is why we had bald Blade for a while.
It's better than what it was.
Yeah, nah. Unfortunately, most comic creators, most artists, most depictions of us don't know how to do clean ass face, and they're starting to figure it out now.
Thank God. It's pretty hard to compare. Like, goddamn, we gotta figure this out, bro.
we have to. They're clowning us out there, bro. We gotta figure something out.
We need to do some research. Where's the nearest barbershop?
Or is they probably got some like some actual black people or people that really like black people at the very least on some slightly better than Get Out shit. One of the two. They pulled up and was like, "You know, you can't get my man a fro like that. No one rocks a fro like that anymore. Not like that." Some people started watching the Boondocks. Was like, "Oh shit, cornrows exist. That happened."
Yeah. How to discipline a child, that also exists. Yes.
I guess
The
actually,
definition of a nigga moment.
that's actually what I want to get into. Okay, so we're hopping around, but Boondocks being specific brings up a good point, and you saying a nigga moment actually brings it up even more. How do you feel about the word nigga as a whole?
Man, that's part of my vocabulary. I can't even lie to you, nigga.
I mean, yeah.
I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but I'm sad that other people can't say the word nigga.
I mean,
People get like too much hate. This nigga is a friend, but if they say the ER, it's a problem.
it is a problem.
I have no problem with nigga. Anybody can say nigga. White woman, anybody, a little kid. I'd be kind of crazy, but I'd be like, okay.
What's up, my nigga?
It's very much depending on the person, on who is saying it and who you're around. If you know them and you're friendly, as
Yeah.
I guess our community, all of us,
And the matter is
rambunctious, go ahead, say it.
the tone and the context is a very key thing here.
Because it's the word nigga is been transformed so much from its original origins that it's basically used for everything now. It's really funny about that because, as in the Boondocks, as it said, and just in general, we can say nigga and it can mean 10 different things, 100 different things.
Yeah.
Nigga.
Nigga.
Hey, look, there was a special from fucking Childish Gambino that said something similar. I said Childish Gambino. Donald Glover, when he was doing his comedy skit, he was like, "That chair could be a nigga."
Yeah, I'm about to say inanimate objects.
My phone could be a nigga.
So it's very much. It can be used, at least in the black community, it can be used for anything.
Yeah.
However, the fact that its origin's still there is what makes it the problem. It's also kind of how akin to Native Americans. When we had to deal with the Redskins, now the Commanders. Originally, as I said before, Redskins was known to be black blood-soaked bodies. When Cowboys or the enemies to Native Americans would split the Native people's bodies and let their bodies soak in piles or hanging off of things. So it's not a fun depiction.
Yeah, I can
think about. Yeah, so it's like the same context of that. Again, it's been transformed, but still,
well,
I can understand why it stays in the community itself.
To be fair,
I don't imagine people in Africa saying it though. In my opinion,
they definitely do.
It's more an American thing.
But to be fair, the way nigga was originally like depicted, obviously outside of its racial context, it was us essentially taking back a word of power. So this was used to it was held over us as an insult, something that to put us down, and us as a people were like, we're going to take this and make it mean something different, right? And it was supposed to be for us, right? As time has gone on, obviously other people want to say it. And I guess, in my opinion, I get it because I kind of get it when you're seeing from the outside of someone just kind of saying it, and it's like, oh, it's, like it's kind of fun. It's a word, like you use it in an everyday, so why can't I use it? But at the same time, it's like if you know what it means for us to say it, why do you have to say it? And I do understand where you're coming from, Devaughn, where it's like it does create like an extra divide for no reason in a lot of cases. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, why do you need to say it? Like, why do you like need to say it? Is how I kind of look at it. It's like you have so many people that like have, like, for instance, I'll say this: if it's in a song, or if it's something that you are singing along to, or if it's in like a context of like you quoting something or doing something of that nature, man, anybody that freaks out over somebody quoting a thing from the Boondocks that says nigga, or singing a rap song that says nigga in it and gets mad because they said nigga, shut up. Shut up. It's a part of the song. It's a part of the thing that you are both enjoying, regardless of who it's from. In that kind of case, in my opinion, at the very least, that is mine. I was like, regardless of who it's from, if it is a part of a piece of media that can be watched, shared by anyone else, and they are quoting, talking about, or something of that nature, why are we gonna make a big deal about it? Like, for what?
But just having fun, bro.
Yeah, you're just having fun. But in the context of just like saying it, like what white dude was just like, "Hey, what's good, my nigga?" I'm gonna look at him sideways a little bit because I'm like, "Who are you?" I don't know. My bad. Shake his hand. I don't know who you are. You want to introduce yourself?
Nah.
Before you maybe call me that. Maybe we can have a dialogue. Maybe if I hear that maybe you come from the streets or something. Maybe you sound like you just might know some other black people in your life. Maybe I'll be cool with it. But at least to me, I don't inherently get insulted by it being said. But I guess what makes me weirded out is how much people want to say it. Like, why do you want to get in on this so bad if it's supposed to be a black thing? You know what I mean? It's like, what's the deal? Especially when, like, the way other cultures, it's like the weirdest thing about us as a whole, I think, where it's so cool to be like us, but being us could never. Being us sucks. No one wants to be us, but they want to be like us. And that's like sounds maybe a little elitist, but like I just find that like a lot of black culture gets poured into a lot of other things that people are like that people find to be cool and interesting and fascinating, but like there's more that comes with being black than just these things. So like obviously like rap, right? It's cool to be like gangster. It's cool to be like to rap along with as rappers. It's cool to do a lot of the things that we do. It's cool to dress like us. You know, you put the Jordans on, you look clean, you look fresh, right? It's cool to talk like
baggy
us.
pants, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's cool to talk like us. You speak in Ebonics a little bit, it's fine. Like, it's cool. But, like, someone that actually is from that life, from someone that's actually, like, you know, maybe they actually are black. They actually have their dreads twisted. People are afraid. People are not willing to give that person, maybe they're not willing to give that person a job, right? But it's cool, though. It's like, it's the thing that everybody enjoys, right? Like, it's the thing that everybody looks at and kind of goes like, this is what's in. This is what our kids want to be like. This is what we want to kind of be like. But when we start talking about issues, it's like, oh, shut up. Shush, don't worry about that. Right? Like, it's just weird. I guess that's part of what makes it really weird to me, is that everybody wants to bite on the style, right? Everybody wants to jump in on the pool, but like the moment it gets kind of rough, everybody's like, wash their hands. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. I'm not part of that. I don't know nothing about that. But I don't know. That's kind of like my slight view on it a little bit. Anybody else like any comments on that if you want?
Nope, I'm gonna say my piece.
I pretty much agree. I suppose like it's all about context and tone again, and like who you're around. A lot of people grew up around that vernacular, so they just naturally say it,
Yeah,
and they don't mean any offense by it.
I mean
Though
it
they
just like we would
don't,
mean
they
it.
may or
Yeah,
may not. Yeah, they may or may not know the origin of the word, but when they're saying it in the moment, like they're, you know,
they're saying it as
obviously
genuine
mean
as
something
anyone
different.
else. Yeah, as any of
Yeah, and to touch base on like the media, uh, and like why uh people want to be like us. Um, I personally, so to touch base on, I guess what like the black community has. This is a different deep dive that this is gonna like branch off to. I can already see, but the whole colorist thing,
Oh no, that's more. You know what? That's still us. That's still in there.
and I definitely experienced um like I got bullied a lot as a kid for being like light skinned. And I have like kind of a mixed heritage. I have a lot of like Native American blood from my mom's side,
Yeah.
and my grandma specifically had light brown hair. So I just I just have that.
Yeah.
And like I forever got teased as a kid because I always grew my hair out for just having like long like brown hair, and it's brown, obviously, like you know doo doo or whatever. But
Someone found a way.
yeah, yeah, and it's something I couldn't control, but I didn't necessarily seek media portrayal of myself per se. Like maybe like from a culture perspective, I can look at certain things and see whether or not I want to get into it, and if it's something that's like for the black community, I can associate with it. But like for myself, I've always had my own like style, and I myself, and I don't want to say an outlier, but not a lot of the black community listens to like metal music, and
Yep.
it's a shame because like we invented rock.
Yeah.
So like,
It's genuinely a shame. Like I'm with you. I completely understand that actually, because I think most of us would count as all black in a lot of cases. I'm gonna be honest. Culturally, like I was right there with you. I didn't find quote unquote sagging my pants to be like fun or interesting to do or
hell no. Especially when you know where it comes from.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah that was the
yeah, yeah.
thing.
Well,
It's like I listen to a bunch of different music. Devaughn, you could attest to me and you both listen to very different music. Leon too, obviously, but like yeah, like, I was one of the people that made fun of Devaughn for listening to different music, which is wrong because I also listen to different music, but it's more so the taste as opposed to the fact that it's different.
Crazy work.
I mean, you was
I'm
listening to
like,
Justin
wub
Bieber,
wub.
bro. I don't know what to tell you.
What are you talking about? What? Justin Bieber's the move, bro.
everyone has their styles. Everyone has their tastes. Never
But
was
yeah,
gonna
but yeah,
enjoy.
everyone has a sensitive taste. It's like me and him, perfectly fine on every other song, and then Baby would start playing, and I'm like, brother, what are you doing?
Specifically, if we're gonna touch on hip hop and rap in the '90s, right when hip hop was just coming up on the rise, it was also that's another deep dive about black people in television and how they look on TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
A
that was
lot
a
of
thing too.
people knew, yeah, about the power of just how cool black people are when you record them and put them on television. They kind of glow. So there was a lot of like comedy shows, lots of like hip hop and rap and music videos where they knew for a fact that people would listen if they were rapping and making, you know, whatever they're pushing, whatever agenda needed to be pushed, like the whole gangster rap thing in the '90s, and like hardcore thugs and you know basically committing crimes and all that. The shit was seen as cool because you were seeing somebody you idolized and you saw on television talk about the same shit, even though they weren't doing that.
Yeah.
There's
In fact,
also-
actually, we have a lot of modern day examples of that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, 21 Savage, Drake, obviously being the biggest one, like easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Drake, oh my god.
Just mentioning him Trigger Kitty, he was like, bruh. But Leon, you were about to say something.
This is a
I was going to
multifaceted
say that
subject. Sorry.
even like this is going to more in the past, but if I remember correctly from that film that Paul showed us, there was depictions of a black band when they're playing music and everything for the South. At least, if to be shown in the South, they had to put like chalk
Yeah.
or like mud or whatever it was on their face to make them look darker. So that's another little showing of racism, depiction,
Yeah,
stereotyping, and everything.
completely right.
But with how us being alt black, it's mainly due to the fact that of how our upbringing was. That doesn't have to be exactly. Sometimes our upbringing could be shit or in the vicinity of what would be standard technically. But it just could be because we're unique and we enjoy different things as in general.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As it was, my brother swewed towards rap, gang, so on and so forth. He got himself out of that, but he still leaned towards that side. For me, I enjoyed in the beginning. What was my jazz, R&B,
Also
metal,
black people.
lot of a decent amount of metal. I think alternative metal at the time. And my sister, she's kind of like this mix of everything, kind of like enjoying almost any song. I very much can listen to any song nowadays too, and can find joy into it. Besides my country, I can't really deal with that that much.
Yep, can't
I
do
can
it.
tolerate it. I can tolerate it, but I'm not like
What's crazy is we also invented that, Loki. We invented the blues, which led into I believe
Yes.
modern day country as we know it. So,
But we're
fascinating.
we're not molded by our origins, their foundations, but we can branch off on however we feel and however we can. It's just depending on how we are, who we are, and how we depict it.
I think that's so crazy that there's all these genres that we like worked on, like actually helped create, and like now it's just super like culture wise, it's just super weird to like a lot of them in a lot of cases. Like maybe not super weird, but like more so frowned upon by the black community. Like they'll look at you funny if you're like Kenny, where you were mentioning you're like, oh yeah, you love heavy metal, you love new metal and stuff like that, and it's like we made rock. Like, why is that a bad thing that we like rock? But like,
It's because they grew up on the hip hop and rap, and what they saw on TV, they saw mostly, they associated BET, for example. We had a whole channel for black entertainment that was predominantly hip hop,
Hip-hop.
rap, soul.
there was a little
Not
bit
that
of
there's a
R&B
problem
in
with
there.
that, but you know, it's very rare that you saw a black metalhead on TV. And I think maybe one of the closest ones you could think of is like maybe like Lenny Kravitz,
Yeah,
because he plays guitar and is more or less a rock star. But
yeah, I consider him a rock star more than anything else.
yeah, and there's more, but I'm trying to think of like a modern example.
It always boils down to social media, sadly enough, because it's just what we have grown accustomed to in our lifetime. It was a new thing; everyone got used to it, and the more and more how movies and news and all that combined together, it just kind of puts everyone into a category. Sadly enough, when it comes to it, even though it shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't inherently be put into these boxes that are, well, by default constricting when there's so much more to just our culture in general and several people's cultures, to be honest. Like, there's no reason for it to be so restrictive in that way. But like, yeah, I agree with that. All right, so I guess what I'll put forward is just because of the fact that we've been going on for a bit, and I know some of us are tired. What are some solutions? Because I always want to, especially now with the deep dive Nexus, I want to try to see if we could put forward solutions or possible solutions for just a lot of the stuff that we do. There are so many things with the black community that like could be fixed or needs to be fixed. There's so much.
Stop
like,
shooting each other.
Bro, that's at the top.
That's at the top. But
it's difficult. The change is like that is something that's generations and generations.
It's definitely,
and sadly enough, that's getting undone slightly with current stuff going on. But it's hard to say what we know what things that should be changed. It's hard that the fact that it won't be implemented, how it will be implemented, because everything will be altered or skewed possibly. So
the idea is to at least try to put forward something, because we're not. If I could predict the path of our like social, economical status or everything like that, if I could accurately predict that, this podcast wouldn't exist. I'd be somewhere else. I'd be rich. But we are like members of this community from different parts of it that exist, and attempted to at least try to put into other people's ears, other ways of going about things, or attempting to do other things about it would be. It's better to have these discussions and think of solutions, I guess is the best way to describe it, rather than to just have the discussion and go like, well, sucks to suck, you know what I mean?
On my way, bye.
Yeah. It's like,
well, the problem is like the change has to start with us, and all we can mostly do is what we've been doing, is like raising awareness. But you've always got this. There's always ops. There's always trying to belittle like what you believe, or trying to shut down what you're speaking about, because they want to spread the disinformation. Yeah. And try to split up the black community. And it's effective because they can literally, get us to fight each other. And we should unite. Like, as much as it's like cliche and people keep talking about black people need to stick together, like we kind of do. Like,
100%.
We need to stop shooting each other, like you said.
We have in the past. The Black Panthers, as I said before, is a great selection of that. But, fear and other little things keep popping up, and was determined that they shouldn't be there.
I mean, to be fair, one of the things that I've always thought that was fascinating is that gangs, in many cases, especially in areas of poverty, were they were created to protect that neighborhood from encroaching other people, like whether it be from, at the time, police or law enforcement that would mistreat them. It was essentially a militia. It was supposed to be a militia.
Very much.
That obviously changed. But that is what it originates from. It's supposed to be to keep the people safe. I guess my thing would be, yes, we do need to stop shooting each other, but like we can say that to them we're blue in the face. I guess I'm saying this with the idea that chances are there are no gang members that are listening to us, but maybe start, instead of like inflicting all this harm on the people that are directly around you, maybe try putting back into your community a bit more. And it sounds, I know I'm asking career criminals to like try to do good, but like the idea of like I guess, trying to build your community with the power and the resources that you have. Because, like, although you're not, they're gang members, right? They don't inherently have political power or stay or whatever like that, but they have manpower. They could just do stuff for people that just help out in their communities. Like, they don't attempting to move it back into a state in which it was more about protection rather than, just straight up like villainism might be a move. It's not a very likely one, but it's a solution that I'm putting forward, if that makes any sense. It's like maybe someone hears something and might be in a position to be like, you know what? Let's give it a shot, right? I'm not telling them to turn over a completely new leaf and be like, we don't sell drugs anymore or anything like that. Like, I mean, granted, probably help, but like still. But like the idea of
Donate.
Maybe don't
homeless shelters.
Easy, but yeah, maybe don't
Specifically
think crap in your backyard. You know what I mean? Maybe try to help out a little bit more. Maybe try to make it a bit better so that like things like gentrification aren't really happening as much. You aren't getting kicked out of your homes and having them sold off for cheap. Maybe don't crack out your neighbors. It's like, you know what I mean? Try to just make the area you live in feel like a better place to live in. But that could apply to anyone. It's not inherently just like the black community. That could be the cartel. The cartel can learn from that. Like it could be anywhere. But if I was to do one a little bit closer to home, I would actually probably say I would like to address colorism as a whole, and just kind of be like, why? Just genuinely, why hate on someone else that has to go through the same struggles that you do when they're just a different shade? Like,
I don't know. These colors just make them angry.
Yeah,
but
reminds me of this one time.
but I guess like the
Light skins versus dark skins.
There's no reason for that. There's no reason for us to be combative about that. It doesn't do anything. Like it just divides us as a people for no reason, actually.
It's funny that you say that because it's just like a year or two ago, I experienced something akin to that, where I was just working, doing my own job, and when the person came in, he was a black man, and he came in, waited, so on and so forth, sat down, got to get his food and everything. But next thing I knew, he came up and spoke to me. And he asked if he could speak with a manager, so on and so forth. I was like, oh, okay, what nonsense are you about to spiel this time? Free food possibly. Some sort of, obstruction that could happen just by customers being customers here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But he started to go on about how I was rude to him. And he's saying that I didn't acknowledge him. I didn't greet him at the door. To be fair, I didn't. I'm pretty sure I just gave him like a look, maybe like a head nod, and didn't say anything else. And I also thought that maybe the hosts were on their way and they're going to handle that. So, from there, I was going to think of that. But I acknowledged my mistakes. And next thing he says is that we were being racist. We were holding back his food or not getting his food out on time while all the other tables were getting his stuff out on time. They get their stuff out on time. And, how can we do that when, we're a restaurant? We do what we can to focus food out to where as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. Like, it's in a timely fashion. Like we don't do it just favoritism or anything. But no, it's just, all right, it's the time, they make it, and depending on your product, it may take longer. I think his dishes actually did take longer because they had to take time in the fryer to cook and make sure there's no, salmonella or any other bacteria inside their food.
So
and
you
so
ordered chicken.
So,
I have to make sure it doesn't kill you.
so yeah, exactly. But he started to go on about how myself, all my coworkers, and everyone were being bigots, racist, so on and so forth. And Ahmani, you met some of them. Do you think they look like they're racist?
Nah, bro.
Nah, exactly.
I walked into that place and they like had the biggest smile. They didn't even know I was his friend until I walked up to him and started talking. They just had the biggest smile to them.
Exactly.
They were so happy that somebody walked in.
Like, who the fuck is this? Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah. And he started to go on about how we don't have any people who are of a darker complexion in there, and I did stand up best I could, but I couldn't do as much because I just work. I can't just say, "Hey, yo, fuck you, piece of shit."
Hey, man.
But I gave my acknowledgement saying that I am mixed. I do have African descent inside of me, and my mom, my grandfather, specifically my grandfather, he was the first black eye doctor, surgeon specifically for. I know. And I tried my best to say, "Hey, we're not doing this. They're not doing this. I wouldn't be working here if this was the case." My parents, my ancestors would roll in the grave if
I was in a list,
like
it's just fucking racist. Yeah, no, that's fair.
But he wasn't buying it. He even told me that you're more privileged than I am in this case. And so that was like, oh, I see. Okay.
It's because you're passing.
I don't
pass for something else.
That's not something that I normally hear.
He's projecting prejudice. Like,
Yes.
how do you be like, how do you say that? You're more privileged than me in this case, so.
Like, I know, like, my skin tone is not as dark, but I still experience some things as he just did, and in other cases too, because of the fact that I don't. I'm American. I don't speak Spanish, even though I am Spanish. That's a little fun thing with that. Yeah, the fact that I'm not in that category, people mistake me for so many different other people. Sometimes people mistake me for my sister, multiple times Asian, Hawaiian.
You guys do look very Samoan. I'll give you.
We've
guys
had
that.
people mistake us for like Muslim, so on and so forth. So it's like, what category am I?
But I do. I guess that's another one I kind of want to address a little bit. Is that like, as a black man, as another black man, I want to address other black people. Bro, not everything is racist. Come on, stop calling the race card on everything. There are times. There are for sure times. Trust me. There are for sure times to be like, okay, I think these motherfuckers are racist. But like, not everything that blights you is because you're black. It's just not. It's not. I mean, like, there's a ton of stuff that does. But can we pick our battles a little bit better? Is that, I guess that's my advice as a black man to other black people. It's like, can we just pick our battles just a little bit better?
Funny enough, his wife was rolling his eyes. He's like, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" In her face. Throughout that whole entire time this was happening with his kids and everything.
I didn't know his kids were involved. That's crazy. His wife and kids were there. I thought it was just him.
Nah, his wife and kids were there.
Going like,
he was going on about how we're progressing racism and how my kids shouldn't be in this vicinity for this and everything. Want to speak to the owner, so on and so forth. Report us. All the customers there is like, yeah, no, this man's wrong. We're not.
His wife is sitting there going like, "What are you doing? Stop!
What are you doing? Why?"
It's like, this kid just told you he was black. He's like literally telling you he would never work in an establishment like this. What are you doing?
But yeah, that was my little moment of having
Colorism,
I,
I guess,
I
honestly.
guess
Yeah. It hits
Colorism.
you. He was like, wait a minute.
a nigga moment.
I was not able to talk this situation down.
No, I wish I could have said more or called up my own mom and be like, "Hey, could you come here for a quick
That'd be
second
kinda
just so
wild.
you can like, put this
Just
man
put
in
on a video
place?"
chat real quick. Just look.
It's a little quick moment, you know.
I didn't know about the eye surgeon thing though. That's actually really cool. I really didn't know about that. That's sick as fuck, bro. But
Yeah.
what about the rest of you guys though? Any solutions you guys want to possibly bring up that might help people in general?
I don't know how to fix it. To help people in general, just be calm in any situation. People get angry at you, try not to be aggressive. As if anybody should be angry, be happy. Don't and call the police. I recommend always call the
I
police.
mean, more so like just anything, not inherently like the situation that me and we want to talk about, but like anything. So like in the black community, that might be something. Just be
I'm
happy.
saying. Like any racial problem, like if you like any problems, like you feel like something's going bad, try to be a bigger person in this situation. It's never should be that big of a situation. Involves race. Just calm down. Just walk away.
You're like just try not to escalate.
Don't
That's
get angry
fair
and fight.
because that avoids a lot of
Mm-hmm.
wrongful shootings that have been like happening, especially in recent years.
Nigga moments.
Yeah, no, it definitely involves nigga moments too.
Yeah.
Because as much as we don't want to admit that, that's a real thing.
Because being a black man, you have to have a good image. You can't be the angry black man.
Yes.
You have to be happy. Not happy, but just like, don't be that angry
You're
black man.
allowed to be angry. Just don't be angry all the time, man. Just try to just not. And it's not even in the sense of like be performative, right? Like it's just sometimes it's just not worth it. It's just not.
Most
Holding
times,
on
that
hatred is not worth it.
It's like whatever the problem's about to be.
if someone's mad about race, it's like chill, bro.
Trust me,
Like, what?
I definitely want to
Get
punch
outta
them in the
here.
face. But like, that's the worst part about punching out a racist, bro. I stand by this. Punching out a racist is the worst because it's a catch-22 every time. If you punch him out, yes, you feel good, but then you also just prove what they were talking about, where they're probably saying that you're violent and don't know how to like do certain things.
That's why you gotta be calm, bro.
It's like, and if you don't punch him out, then you feel like they didn't learn anything, and that sucks. It sucks because now it's just like, oh, they're just getting away with it. But like low key, they might have to kind of get away with it. Like, not really, but like, you prove more by holding back and choosing not to. I guess is the best way I can describe it, as opposed to just straight up going in for the kill. But you're not wrong. Just try to just walk away. Choose like we said before, like just choose your battles a little bit better. Kenny, what about you, man?
What I mean, most of like what I previously said, I still kind of, I guess, stand by.
Doing,
Just like
doing
kind
your
of
own research stuff and things like that. Yeah.
raise awareness. Yeah, but also, I did deal with a situation, I suppose, where I had like police intervention, like cop, like state troopers had me at gunpoint type shit. And it was a racial profiling because they said I looked like the person they were looking for.
So on
And
and so forth, yeah.
I was mad about that for
It's
a
always
while.
something like
I ain't gonna lie. Like, but anger doesn't, I guess, resolve anything in the long run. You be better off at this current moment complying, but at the very least, know your rights.
In fact, educate yourself being one of the number one solutions to a lot of situations in general.
Yes. Yes. Arm yourself with knowledge.
Learn, yeah,
That's the main thing I would
research.
say.
There's a surprising number of us that are just so willfully ignorant about what is going on in the world and how people perceive things, or just don't care about how people perceive things. You would do yourself and so many other people so many favors just by learning, just educating yourself on stuff.
This will coincide with my I guess my tips or what could be helped on because it was going to be that knowledge, but also know your roots. Despite how everything is shown in America and what that origin is that's not your origin. There's far more beyond that. You didn't come from this area. That's me. I'm the native. Your origins are from somewhere else. And honest to God, there are some times that those origins, even native, go back somewhere else too. So there's always power in that. And this is something that my mom always tells me 24/7. It's annoying as hell, but she wants me to remember it. Is that for at least the Black community, you are not, despite the demonization, despite everything else, you are powerful. There is power behind you because of where you come from, and what people before us decided to do was out of fear because of that. Essentially, we have a lot of stuff behind us if you just knew what your roots were. So look into that. Look into the Moors. They're a really good African tribe in the past to know about. Even some of the other stuff, because most of the time in knowledge has been altered or whitewashed, like how Hannibal. Hannibal wasn't a white man according to social study books. What I've always seen in high school and middle school, hell, he's an African man. He's not white. So know the difference between the two. And as I said, learn. Knowledge is power. And in this society, in this structure, according to Caucasians, knowledge is where it's needed. And the more knowledge you have, the more you can go through, and the higher you can climb, and more you can influence the next generation and even the past generations.
Very true. He's not wrong with that one. Especially that. And that is another thing, actually. Be willing to share, because, like, a lot of stuff gets passed down. Share things. Pass down knowledge. Like, stuff that you learn, things like that. Like, trust me. I'm saying this to all the I don't know how many grandmas are listening right now. I don't know how many. Grandma, I'm telling you right now. I know you got all the recipes up here in your head. I know you're like, it's fine, it's all good, it's up here. Write it down, put it in a book or something. Allow people to be able to continue to make those things. Maybe they can use it to make money off of it, create generational wealth. That's a thing that helps. Grandma, I need grandpas too, because I'm sure that they got something that they just not telling people. But like this happens a lot.
It's not even that.
Personally, I feel like it happens a lot with like Black grandmas though.
Exactly,
like them chocolate chip cookie recipes that they keep asking you about and that you make every time they show up, but you don't want to tell nobody how to cook them. Write it down, please.
They ain't gonna do it right. She's looking for the chosen one, bro.
No, we don't got time for you to look for the right one. Leave it for them to understand. Maybe they can use it in a different way. Maybe they can improve. Don't just let that sit up there in your head. And I'm sure that there's other stuff. Like, my grandfather knows how to make wine. I probably should go figure out how to make... Like, he's told me a bit about it. I should probably actually, like, straight up go learn how to make some wine. Granted, you know, moonshine is the whole thing, but like I could use that skill. You know what I mean? I could make stuff. I could probably go get a proper license.
One day, just pop up to a party. Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
like,
I got some wine. Oh, nice. Where'd you buy it from? Oh, I made it myself. You did what?
I can use that skill. I could probably go get my proper license
That is a
and
skill.
learn how to do, and that could be a thing that gets passed down. Like, there are so many of our older generation, and even like our younger generation that's somewhat not willing to learn it. There's so much knowledge that's just lost in between that, and I'm like, brother, please go learn from the people before you. They've been through some shit clearly, and they know some things. just try.
And if you don't have someone that you can learn from someone that you can trust.
And if you have knowledge,
There are people
pass
out
it.
there that are wanting to spread and give knowledge out in general.
Pass it down. Because if we lose another famous grandma cookie recipe, I'ma lose it. I swear.
He's gonna start a movement, bro.
Start a movement. But like, it's just take interest in those kind of things. Stop trying to. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and that's the other thing is being complacent. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in the world, and there's too many people of our skin complexion that just kind of let things go by. There's a reason. I'm gonna say this right now. There's a reason why, and some people might get upset. There's a reason why we have Trump in office right now. It's because a lot of us didn't bother to educate ourselves on anything that was happening at the time. We wasn't really feeling Kamala too much, but we didn't bother interacting with anything on any other level of the government leading up to that point at any point. We didn't bother learning about any of it. We didn't bother educating ourselves on any of it. And then when it came down to actually having two candidates for presidency, we didn't go vote either. Because it just didn't happen, right? And now, currently, we have a president who, in my opinion, actually, not even inherently my opinion, on a base moral level, does not have your best interests at hand.
Hell no. On a base moral
On a
level,
base moral
on
level.
any level, on any level, but he just don't.
Yeah, because I went with base because that's the lowest I could think of. But on every other level, yeah, no, it's not matching up either. But just does not have your best interests in mind at all. Personally, I don't know how someone who is known to be a racist and also technically a convicted felon is allowed to run for president of a nation that's supposed to be all inclusive because it's about freedom. I don't know how that happens.
Hey, we're weird, okay?
But for those that say that your vote don't matter, it does. It's a huge part of the reason why Obama got elected in the first place. I'm not kidding. we showed up in droves to vote for Obama, and then for some reason decided that, like, on this runaround, or on a couple actually runarounds, we just didn't. And our voice is important in general because of the fact that, like, yes, if you don't say anything, stuff like this gets to happen. If you just do nothing, then whatever happens. If you have the ability to do something and you choose to do nothing, I mean, it's very comic book-esque stuff. Hey man, it's Spider-Man. It's very similar to that. If you have power and we have power, we have some type of power. Whatever little bit of power we have a responsibility to use it for the best of our abilities. I'm sorry that it's very Spider-Man, but like it's correct. It does work like that. I'm sorry to tie it into that. But it's like, and for some reason, a lot of us just don't. I mean, granted, there's a huge incarceration rate that does its best to stifle what voice we do have, because let's be real, the incarceration rate for black people is significantly higher, despite us being a lower part of the population. But a lot of people like to point that out with race when it's actually a class thing.
To be fair, there is a lot that goes unchecked with the black community, especially when it involves mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yes.
a lot of things just go unsaid and unspoken because of how, I guess, like media portrayal once again.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk about your feelings and be emotional, or be considered weak. Blah blah blah. Things like that.
Get help. That's why it's also another solution for us. Therapy exists for a reason and it works.
And not just for the African black community. Everyone get help.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everyone in general, everyone within the sound of my voice, get help. You probably have some type of trauma.
And if it's not from a professional, a friend is always good too.
That's very true. Though, to be fair, some friends are not the best for.
No, not some,
Telling
but there's
traumatic
always
things too,
there's
but
sometimes a friend
choose wisely.
that can be there to help you out. Sometimes.
But sometimes you just need the voice of a professional. If you're going through some things, or mental health, like you said, is a huge thing. There's a ton of people that write off the. You know how many cases of undiagnosed ADHD exists within the black community in general? In general, just a lot in general for everybody, to be honest. But like, just purely of people just not being willing to put in the care or the dedication to help out people. There's so many. Devaughn, you have ADHD and dyslexia.
Correctamundo.
You found that out recently. Well,
I was 25.
relatively recently.
Dyslexia, I was 25.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. Very mad. School system's trash. I wish people knew about that. It's crazy that nobody thought about that. Why are you bad
No
at
one
reading?
considered that at any point.
He always do bad at reading, but I don't know. Even though 40% of people with ADHD have dyslexia. I probably said that wrong.
No. I can believe that. 40% of people who have
ADHD have dyslexia. But,
have
yeah.
dyslexia.
I have ADD and dyslexia, so.
Yeah.
Wait, you have both?
Yeah, ADD and dyslexia. And
I didn't know that
even though technically now
dyslexia.
ADHD and ADD are the same thing, so.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't even know. I just found out Leon has dyslexia today.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't know he had dyslexia.
My
just never came
dyslexia
up.
kicks in so often when I'm at work. Looking at numbers, Jesus Christ, I hate it.
Oh, there's a number one, too.
Yeah, dyscalculia. So he has both. Damn.
The number one's kind of stupid sometimes.
Dyscalculia is rough, too.
Looking at 3159 and it's 1305. Or a random number appears out of nowhere. Oh, hey, there's an 801 now. Okay.
Damn. I didn't know. But this is a perfect example. Leo, when did you find out that you have dyslexia?
When I was very young.
Okay. So
my mom made sure that I was diagnosed and so on.
Just
so
wanted
my
to
brother
make
and my
sure.
sister too.
But two perfectly good examples. Devaughn didn't find out till he was 25 because it just didn't pop up, and Leon found out almost immediately. Can you have dyslexia too? I'm not just trying to say that. I'm just asking.
Me, nah. I maybe had some form of like AD. Okay, so I was diagnosed with like ADD, bipolar disorder, and anxiety.
Okay.
Anxiety is like a big thing, I think, and like
On the black community too. Yeah. No.
yeah.
And it goes undiagnosed or untreated.
But trauma is also hereditary. So like the things that we've just dealt with over time, over generations, kind of passed down.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of just feel a different type of way about authority or cops or things like that.
That's true.
Well, it's been inbred into us, as you said.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the culture just don't like cops, and I can't even say stop doing that because shit, man, they don't make it easy.
Yeah, we just yeah.
Be cautious. Don't be stupid.
Yes, that's always true. Be cautious. Don't be dumb.
I highly recommend meditation. That's something that not a lot of people do in any community. Um,
That's fair.
that's a start. It's like the basic level of like mindfulness and getting yourself to kind of slow down and reconsider how you actually feel in the present moment.
Meditation and yoga. Those are the two that are always handy because it just centers yourself, get your chakras
Yeah.
aligned. But
Yes, sir.
meditation, easy thing, 5 minutes, and then just peaceful sounds. No electronics, no nothing. Sit outside or somewhere there's no disturbance, radiation, nothing. And just be one with
Honestly,
yourself.
you can do it in places that are noisy too. But like
Well,
if you're in New York,
the beginning,
a cityscape
because
is a
doing it
cityscape.
with
That's just
noisy,
that
it's
is your outside sound.
distractions.
So like,
Yeah, anything that has like emitting any type of like electronic frequency or like a wavelength will disrupt your own electromagnetic or bioelectric field.
Mm-hmm. It also becomes more difficult to center yourself then during that time. That's why I said keep that away from you when you're doing so.
So it's hard to focus when you have like the TV on or your phone near you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for some people.
I mean, that's understandable. Personally, I would just say allow yourself, like, remove yourself as much as possible from outside noise, but obviously there's the understanding that, like, you're obviously if you're in a city or an apartment complex, you can't exactly turn off all the noise.
No, you can't turn off all the noise, but do your best to isolate yourself.
But the cityscape can be your meditative piece. It can sound a little weird, but again, because it is the sound of, it is the noise that exists around you, but it is, to you, your nature. If that makes any sense. But I totally agree. Just taking up meditation.
City boy.
Taking up meditation totally helps. It just helps center, especially if you have anxiety. We know goes undiagnosed in a lot of people in general, not even just the black community. But like genuinely, there is this idea. I'm also going to say this. Us as black people also have a tendency to, and it's not that you cannot have any form of spirituality, and in fact, use your spirituality to help center yourself. Whatever religion helps you do that. Do not mistaken general need for help with need for prayer inherently, though, because that I see happens a lot, and it's always been a thing that's always bothered me. It's just like sometimes people need more than just prayer. They need help. Like we said, just go go to a therapist, go talk to some, like, go. There's things that need to be addressed, like traumas and things of that nature, that can only be done by going to the doctor or by going to a therapist or someone that can act like that is actually really good as a therapist. Like there are different solutions like BetterHelp and things of that nature. Like I'm just not inherently trying to be a hotline, but like there needs to be, it's something that needs to be addressed, I feel. And if it's not addressed, it's gonna keep causing like problems. It's gonna be a constant cycle. Just understand that there's other forms of healing besides the healing word of prayer. It's useful and it helps, but there are other things, and sometimes people just need more than just that. In general, is all I'm saying on that one. Yeah.
Spirituality is one thing, physicality is another.
I think as far as solutions go, I mean, like, there's obviously so many more things that we could talk about, but I'm gonna say that we've listed off quite a bit, some of them multiple times. um, but I think we could call this one.
Yeah.
You call this one, right? Unless there's anything else anyone else wants to slide in or add.
Nope. I talked more than I thought I was gonna talk.
All right. It sounds like this
We
is
talk about some real shit.
yeah, for real.
Some real shit.
I'll have anything else to say. I would have loved to have more opinions with other people, but it didn't happen.
That happens. It'd be like that. We'll work on that. We'll have other people pop up. Maybe we'll come back to this conversation topic again. There could always be a part 2 of this. Should people decide to change
Y'all check out my band on Spotify. We on Spotify now.
I was gonna do the plugs. Don't worry. In fact, you were gonna get.
My bad.
I mean, Kenny, they can find you at.
My mom on TV.
They can find you on Spotify. What is the name of your band?
We are Enlu.
In the next in the next normal podcast episode, you will hear some snippets from their, actually just full-on songs from their band as well. And they'll have a proper intro. It won't be on this episode, just because we don't usually shill on the deep dive. But this is the only one that Kenny's been on, so it's totally fair for him to totally do this. So yeah, push it.
My mom on TV. We talking about the black community. I'm trying to.
I understand. You're trying to help them know a little
baby.
bit.
That's my baby.
But,
I knew he'd be big.
But as usual, do the things that we usually tell you in the normal podcast to do, because, like I said, we're not gonna chill on here. And just go check out the normal podcast. Which, if you're already here listening to this, you probably already do it. So there you go. But without further ado, we will see you all next time. You guys take it easy. Good night.
Good night.
Farewell. Be safe.